Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. For the longest time, I thought Amber and I had something real, solid. I wasn't the jealous type. I didn't snoop through her phone or check her location like some insecure kid. If she said she was meeting a friend for dinner, I believed her. If she stayed out late with coworkers, I didn't question it. Trust, to me, wasn't optional. It was the foundation. Amber was the kind of woman who turned heads without even trying. Loud laugh, quick smile, always the center of attention. And I liked that about her, in the beginning, at least. But over time, I started to notice something else, a certain edge. Like she got a kick out of seeing what she could get away with. It started small, a few too many drinks on a work night, big charges on our joint credit card for things she never mentioned, weekend trips with her girlfriends where she'd come back with stories that didn't quite line up. I told myself it was nothing. I wasn't going to be the controlling husband. I wasn't going to be my father. Then there was Caleb. I met him once at one of Amber's office parties. Tall, flashy, way too interested in making me laugh, in making Amber laugh. I recognized the type right away. The harmless coworker who wasn't nearly as harmless as he pretended to be. Amber insisted they were just friends, said I was being paranoid. I didn't press it. I figured if you have to police someone, you've already lost. But sometimes, you see the signs before the storm hits. You just pretend you don't. And the night she brought up the trip, that's when I knew we were about to find out exactly how much my silence had been costing me. It was a Tuesday night. We were sitting in the kitchen, half eating takeout, half scrolling through our phones. Amber's voice was casual, too casual. "Some of us from work are planning a weekend at the lake," she said, sipping her wine without looking up. "Renting a cabin, barbecues, boating, the usual." I nodded. "Sounds fun." She smiled a little. The kind of smile you use when you know a secret and you're daring someone to guess it. "Caleb's coming too," she added, still not looking at me. There it was, delivered like it was nothing. But she knew exactly what she was doing. I set down my fork and watched her, calm, neutral. "Didn't realize you two were so close," I said. Amber shrugged, her eyes still on her phone. "It's a group thing, Gordon. Don't start." "Not starting," I said, keeping my voice even. "Just observing." She finally looked up, almost challenging me. "Are you seriously going to be that guy?" I shook my head. "Nope, I'm not going to be anything." That seemed to unsettle her more than if I'd started a fight. She tapped her nails against the glass, searching for something to say. When she couldn't find it, she got up and started cleaning dishes that didn't need cleaning. I stayed at the table, watching her move around the kitchen like she was too busy to notice the tension she'd lit on fire. I already knew then what I was going to do. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't bad communication. This was a test, and Amber was about to learn that I didn't play games I couldn't win. I pushed my chair back, stood up, and said it plainly. "If you go, don't come back." Her laugh was sharp, forced. "God, Gordon, you're so dramatic." I didn't say anything else. I just walked past her, grabbed my keys, and left for a drive. Sometimes silence speaks louder than any argument, and this time I wasn't bluffing. The next couple of days felt still, like the whole house was holding its breath. Amber acted like nothing had happened. She went about her business, packing a small duffel, chatting on the phone, laughing a little too loud. Every now and then she'd glance my way, like she was waiting for me to bring it up again. I didn't. I didn't nag. I didn't beg. I just watched. Friday morning, as she zipped up her bag, she tried one last time. "You're really not going to say anything?" she asked, standing by the door. I leaned against the kitchen counter, coffee in hand, and gave her a small shrug. "You heard me." She rolled her eyes like I was the immature one. "It's just a weekend, Gordon. You're making it into a whole soap opera." I didn't reply. I wasn't interested in another round of gaslighting. Amber grabbed her keys, tossed her bag over her shoulder, and hesitated just long enough to make it seem like she cared. Then she left, the door swinging shut behind her with a soft click. I stood there for a moment, feeling the emptiness settle around me. No rage, no heartbreak, just a cold clarity. This was the moment everything changed. I grabbed my phone and opened my contact list. I had already lined up the locksmith 2 days ago when she first mentioned the trip. A quick text confirmed he'd be here within the hour. Next, I pulled the storage bins from the garage. I started in the bedroom, moving methodically, Her clothes, her makeup, her shoes, all of it packed neatly. No rage, no throwing things, no shouting into the void. Just action. Every trace of Amber was coming out of this house before she even realized she'd burned the bridge she thought would always be there. By noon, the locks were changed. By sunset, her things were boxed and labeled. And by the next morning, they were sitting in the back of a moving van, headed straight for her parents' house 2 towns over. She had made her choice. Now it was my turn. Sunday afternoon, I was sitting on the back porch, a cold beer in hand, when my phone buzzed. Motion detected at the front door. I thumbed open the security app, and there she was. Amber, standing on the porch, sunglasses perched on her head, duffel bag at her feet. She bent down, tried her old key in the lock. It didn't budge. I watched as she frowned, tried it again, jiggled the handle harder. Confusion turned to frustration. She pulled out her phone, and within seconds mine started to ring. I let it vibrate once, twice, 3 times. Then I picked up. "Gordon," she said, her voice tight, forced casual. "The lock's broken. I can't get in." I stayed quiet for a moment, just long enough to make her nervous. "It's not broken," I said finally. "It's been changed." Silence. Then, "What are you talking about?" "You don't live here anymore," I said simply. "Your stuff's at your parents' place. You can pick it up there." More silence. I could almost hear her brain scrambling to make sense of it. "You're kidding," she said, a little laugh breaking into her voice. "Gordon, come on. Don't be like this. We're not seriously doing this over a stupid trip." "No," I said. "We're doing this because you crossed a line, and I'm done pretending you didn't." She tried to recover, her voice pitching higher. "It was just a weekend. You're overreacting." I didn't bother explaining myself. She didn't deserve another explanation. "You'll be hearing from my lawyer," I said, and hung up. The phone buzzed immediately. Messages started pouring in. "Gordon, don't do this." "Can we just talk?" I didn't even do anything wrong. I muted the notifications and leaned back in my chair. The afternoon sun dipped behind the trees. The beer was cold, and for the first time in a long time, the world felt quiet. For a few hours, the messages kept coming. Texts, missed calls, even voicemails I didn't bother to listen to. Amber tried every angle. Anger, guilt, confusion. I ignored them all. Around midnight, just as I was thinking about heading to bed, another notification popped up. A voice message. For some reason, I played it. Her voice was shaky, not the defiant tone she usually used when we fought. She sounded scared. "Gordon, please, you need to hear me out," she said, her breathing uneven. "It's not what you think. Something happened at the lake. Caleb. He wasn't who I thought he was." There was a pause. Then a choked sob. "I made a mistake," she continued. "I shouldn't have trusted him. I shouldn't have gone. Please, I didn't know what to do." The message cut off. I sat there for a moment, staring at the screen. Not out of pity, not out of rage, just detached curiosity. It figured. The guy she'd gone to bat for, the guy she'd risked everything for, had turned on her the first chance he got. My phone buzzed again. Another incoming call from Amber. I let it ring out. Then another text popped up. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Please, Gordon, I need you." I locked the phone and set it face down on the table. She didn't need me. She needed someone to bail her out, someone to erase the mess she made. But I wasn't that man anymore. Not for her, not after everything. I got up, shut off the lights, and went to bed. No second thoughts, no regrets. By the next morning, the situation had clearly blown up. My phone stayed quiet, not because Amber had stopped trying, but because I had finally blocked her. Calls, texts, everything, gone. Instead, I started hearing about it through other people. First, it was Madison, one of Amber's friends, calling from a number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. She left a message dripping with fake concern. "Gordon, hey, it's Madison. Look, Amber's really sorry. She made a mistake, but she's freaking out right now. Can't you just talk to her? Don't throw everything away over one bad decision." I deleted it without a second thought. Then, a message from Amber's mother, a woman who had once called me the best thing that ever happened to her daughter. "Gordon, please call me back. Amber's not herself. We're trying to help her." I didn't call back. It wasn't my problem anymore. I heard bits and pieces through the grapevine after that. More than I wanted, honestly. Caleb had disappeared the minute Amber tried to confront him about what had happened at the lake. No returned calls, no showing up to work, nothing. He ghosted her hard. Worse, once word got around about what happened, Amber's so-called friends started dropping her too. Turns out, people who love drama don't like cleaning up real messes. She was stuck, living back at her parents' place. No job, no friends, no husband. And every time she looked in the mirror, she'd have to remember exactly how she got there. Meanwhile, I wasn't sitting around stewing about it. I was busy closing accounts, transferring assets, securing my life from the wreckage she had no place in anymore. When you let the wrong people stay too long, they start believing the house is theirs. Sometimes the only way to fix it is to change the locks, permanently. A few weeks later, the divorce papers were signed and filed. From that point on, all communication went through my lawyer. Still, somewhere in the middle of it, Amber tried once. "Please, Gordon, I miss you. Let's fix this." I didn't answer. Eventually, after a few months, everything was finalized. No drawn-out court battles, no screaming matches, no desperate public apologies. Amber didn't even try to fight it. Maybe she knew it would be pointless. Maybe she just didn't have the energy left. I heard, through a mutual acquaintance, that she was working part-time at some retail shop her cousin managed. Quiet, low profile, the opposite of the flashy life she used to chase. I didn't care enough to confirm it. It didn't matter. I had moved out of that house by then, bought a small place closer to the city. Something simple, easy to maintain. I cut ties with all the shared friends, wiped the slate clean. Life got quiet, but not lonely. Peace isn't loud. It doesn't dance for attention. It just is. Amber had started dating again, but nothing ever lasted. People picked up on the cracks she used to hide so well. Things would fall apart after a few months, sometimes even sooner. I started dating again too, carefully, slowly. This time, I paid attention to the small things, the things that matter. One evening, a few months later, I was out at a small restaurant with someone new. Her name was Elise, kind, smart, a woman who didn't need to test the people she cared about. We were halfway through dinner when I saw Amber across the room. She spotted me too, froze, and for a second I thought she might turn around and leave. But she didn't. She walked straight over, ignoring Elise completely, like she wasn't even there. "Gordon," she said, her voice low, almost pleading. "Can we talk?" I set my fork down, met her eyes calmly. "There's nothing left to say, Amber." "Please," she whispered. "I made mistakes. I know that now. I'm different." I shook my head slowly. "You're exactly who you've always been," I said. "And I'm exactly who I should have been a long time ago." She stood there for a moment, swallowing whatever pride she still had left. Then she turned and walked out of the restaurant, disappearing into the night. I picked up my fork again, smiled at Elise, and finished my dinner. After that night at the restaurant, I never saw her again. Every once in a while, someone would ask if I ever regretted how things ended. If maybe, just maybe, I should have given Amber another chance. I always gave the same answer. No, because I didn't lose anything worth keeping. And that was the truth. Amber wasn't some monster. She didn't set out to destroy us. But she played a game she thought she couldn't lose. Testing, pushing, crossing lines, believing I'd always stay, always forgive, always look the other way. She mistook patience for weakness. She mistook love for permission. She forgot that even the quiet ones have a breaking point. When you spend enough time pretending not to see the red flags, eventually they stop looking like warnings. They just look like the background of your life. Until one day, you wake up and decide you're done living in someone else's mess. That was the day I walked away. Not with shouting, not with vengeance, just with my dignity intact and my future wide open. And I never looked back. Thank you for watching.